Welcome to the Illuminati broadcast. I'm your demon lord, David Moore. What's up, y'all? All right, so my hair's all crazy right now. We all good. We look good. We feeling good. All right. Shake it off, right? I love my white hairs. They're beautiful. I love them. Eventually, I'll be a little kitsune. All right. So today is 4/26. Yeah, I had a dream that somebody was like, "Don't be a demon lord, it's so scary," and I'm like, "Shut up." And then I had another part of my dream where I was like tripping balls on stuff, and I'm like, "Okay, that's cool." All right, let me see. I just want to show you a little diagram to give you a better idea of how the sun works, how it rotates around the North and South Pole. Um, hmm. Usually I draw these things, but for some reason I like never can find them when I need to. Like I have a couple here, but there should be a better one. I thought I made a better one. How frustrating. I know I made a nice one that looked really cool. I just can't find it. Well, here's one. Let's see if we can focus more over here. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, we're on the outside. We're on this circle. We're. Let's see if I can get the lighting right. Okay, we're on the circle part. So right here on the outside, and then there's a north and a south pole, and the sun is rotating around that north and that south pole. But we're on the outside of this, so we're inside the Earth. We're not on the outside of the Earth. We're on the inside. Um, you can kind of see it in this one a little bit better, and then yeah. So yeah, that's kind of a cool idea. Yeah, if I ever make a video game, it's gonna look like that. Trying to find another one that can help explain it. There's this one. All right, so basically, like, it's showing that we're on the outside of we're inside the dome, but when we're facing south, there's a south and a north pole that connects, and the sun rotates around it. Too complicated for you guys. I think it takes practice. You have to work with the Ars Goetia and figure it out. Here's another one that kind of shows it. Yeah, it's just oh no, let's see. This one's. I think this is the most simple one because this is gonna be you and what you can see, right? So you see the sun rising over here, going into the sky, and then setting, and then this will be east, south, west, north, and you would be right here in the middle. So if you turn to the east, you'll see the sun rising. You go to the south, you see the sun starting to go, high noon, and then you see the sun go down, right? But what the sun is actually doing is going around this rotating axis pole. So south and north, and then it's going like this. So we see it going this way, but in reality, it's going this way. You kind of have to work with some kind of diagram and really get a good idea of that. Eventually, I'll make a 3D model. I should ask Gemini to help me with that because it can make 3D models. So today's the 26th. Let's see what spirits are ruling over today. All right, so we can go backwards, right? 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. This is today's date. So let's just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 26. All right. We know this is 50 because this is Forcus, right? 50, 52, 54, 56. So today's the 26th on the 56th spirit. So we're gonna look at 55 and 56. I think 56 is Gremory. 55 is somebody. Is it Kamari? I don't remember. But let's kind of look at something real quick because the moon was in Leo like 2 nights ago. And it was somewhere around here actually. That makes so much sense. So you see this like border right here. The moon was right here, and this side was lit up, and this side was dark. Yeah, so it's letting you know that the sun is like hitting this way. I thought it was very interesting, and it was like a south quarter aspect. So it's like pointing towards the south. So if you look, and it was halfway cut through the moon, right? So it was like half. But it was like the south. I mean, it was pointing directly south, like southeast. So I was like, whoa, that's very interesting that the moon is pointing southeast and it's in Leo. And that's Leo's energy is right here in this southeast energy. So he would be like primarily strong in these areas. So I guess this one connects to Aries. This one connects to Sagittarius. And these ones are connecting through Leo. So that makes sense why the moon was like that. So there's something that has to do with the moon, its aspects, the way it's lined up here, because in the Ars Goetia it says that you have to understand how the moon works, or your spells won't really have any effect. Sometimes they'll be good, but most of the time they won't be as strong as they could be if you understand the moon. So now we're learning a lot about the moon, right? Okay, let's see. So 55 and 56, let's see who they are. Oh, okay. 55 is Orobas. That would be Horsey and Pokemon. Horsey and Seadra. Orobas. The 55th spirit is Orobas. Let's see his sigil real quick. That's his sigil. Kind of looks like a trumpet, right? Kind of like Horsey's face. Has that little spout. He is a great and mighty prince. Remember, a prince means water and Jupiter, and the metal is tin. Appearing at first like a horse. Let's look at who so Horsey, that makes sense. But I've had a lot of dreams about the horses in the ocean. Usually, like I'll be at the Vatican or something, or somewhere in Rome, and there'll be like a pool of water, and then the inside the pool of water there are horses made out like half horse, half fish, and they're in the water, but they're moving. They're frightening. If you ever see anything like that, trust me, it's freaking crazy. All right, so let's see who the spirit is for Jupiter. I know it's Sachiel and Cassiel. So Zadikaio and Sachiel. Jupiter, tin, blue. So that's water. Yeah, cool. So Zadkiel and Sachiel. But that lets you know like wealth, because Jupiter is primarily used for wealth. But after the Cabana of the Exorcist, he puts on the image of a man. His office is to discover all things past, present, and to come. Also to give dignities and prelacies and the favor of friends and foes. Okay, so his office is to discover all things past, present, and to come. What is divination? To learn what is in the past, what is in the present, and what is to come. That's divination. So remember, we have 4 pieces of the Bible. We have the cup of Joseph, right? We have the rod of Aaron, the sword of David, and the shekel of gold, which is going to be the shield of David. So when you have those are like the 4 main like mystical artifacts, right? They're like the 4 strongest things that have influenced Jewish mysticism, Christianity, and all that stuff. So there would be like the Christian I don't want to say they are the Holy Grail, but they also are the they're artifacts, but they're the most like valuable, or like they're heavy because they're the four elements, right? So the cup is water, and Joseph was a prophet, or he was just somebody that God really loved, right? And he used the cup to divinate for the Pharaoh. So he will tell him what's the past, what's present, and what's to come. Also to give dignities and prelacies. So we see that it gives dignity and prelacies. When Joseph was sold to um, the Pharaoh, the Pharaoh noticed that he had a good eye for interpretation, and he was like very handsome and all these other things. So, so that's a dignity and prelacy, right? So that means that this spirit gave him those things. Um, you can even see him as this spirit, so he can give that to you. So, like, let's say you want fame and wealth and power, or like some kind of something like that. Like, he can help you with those kinds of things. Um, Also to give dignities and prelacies. So if you need like dignity is like people looking at you, trying to, they have a good judgment on you. So when they think about you, they're like, oh, that's a cool person. I like that person, or that's a good person, or that person can help me with this, or I can do this for them. That's dignity, right? It's like your reputation. So he can give you a really good reputation. And prelacies. So dignity and prelacy are like reputation put together. Because prelacy is like kind of like your authority, and your dignity is like what you stand for. So your authority and what you stand for is your reputation, and the favor of friends and foes. So basically, you can get help from both your enemies and your allies. Um, and we know in the story of Joseph that he. Let me find out what his Jewish name was, so we can use that name instead. Yosef, I guess. Whatever. Let's see if we can find another one. Yosi, like Joey, Joey Wheeler. Oh, so that's why Joey Wheeler likes to do chances. My allergies are so bad today. Nope. I thought I brought my Let me go get my stuff real quick. I had to blow my trumpet nose. My allergies are kind of bad today for some reason. All right. So Joey, we know Joey is the guy that did the cup of water for divination, the silver cup, the chalice. Um, and he got favors of friends and foes because his brothers sold him to as a slave, and the pharaoh managed to get his hands on him. And then after that, the he did a whole bunch of divination for the pharaoh, and then the pharaoh like got help through the interpretations, whether it be dreams or cups. Um, and he got a good job. He got to be able to do a whole bunch of um, accounting work for the pharaoh, and he made big decisions. They trusted him, right? What else did we see happen in the story? Because you would want to look at the story and how it relates to the spirit, so that way you can utilize those energies. So you can think of Joey as that angel, that archangel of Jupiter, right? And it makes sense too, because Jupiter, Joey, and then Jesus, and then Zeus, because Jupiter is Zeus, so it's a J and a Zeus, so J Zeus, Jesus, right? Or Jesus, Hell Zeus, or Jew Zeus. What would Jew Zeus mean? Jew God, right? King of the Jews, the Jew God, Jesus, right? Remember, our ancestors used to fight for words and like how to pronounce them and how to use them, and people would name their counties after them. So it's been passed down for generations, this information. But after time, you forget it and you lose it because you don't have those ancestors anymore. You didn't hold on to like the values anymore. Um, He gives true answers of divinity and of creation of the world. He is very faithful unto the exorcist and will not suffer him to be tempted of any spirit. He governs 20 legions. All right, so let's see. My nose is making me angry. Okay. The favor of friends and foes. Yeah, so we saw that Joey was able to he was able to make favors of friends and foes. Well, his brothers were kind of his foes, his enemies, right? Because his brothers wanted the worst for him. And they told the dad that he got attacked and got killed. When in reality, they just sold him because they were jealous of him. But he managed to be able to kind of trick them too and be like, hey, you got to keep coming back. And like, he put the cup inside their bag. So when they were checking the bags, they found the cup. And they were like, oh, you guys are going to be arrested. So we're going to take you back to Joey, back to Joseph. And then he's going to interpret you guys or something like that, like judge you and decide what's going to happen to you next. But he can do that, right? He gives true answers of divinity and of the creation of the world. Yeah, so when he would interpret the cup and the dreams, he would be able to understand them. So true answers of divinity and the creation of the world. Yeah, because in the dreams, your dreams are going to be like messages from God, and he gives true answers of divinity. So he's going to like really help you understand your dreams. Because like, let's say you have a dream where you run over a cat. In reality, it's not saying you're going to run over a cat. It just means that maybe you feel like that you're always getting into trouble and that you're always getting hit. Like you're vulnerable. Like you're afraid to get ran over. Like you're the cat, basically. Or maybe you're the driver and you feel like you've just been like stepping over people, you know? And of the creation of the world. So the creation of the world, that's very interesting. Because in the Bible in Genesis it says that God was hovering over the waters. So like I guess the first thing to happen in the world was this noise and then he was hovering over the water. So let's look at Genesis. The first book. So we're going to look at what it says. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. When you look at the Ars Goetia, let's look at it. This is the heavens, and this is the earth. So basically, God created the heavens and the earth. Those are the first things he created. Now the earth was formless and empty. So this means that this was going to be empty. That the earth was formless and empty. So it didn't have a form and it was empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep. Darkness was over the surface of the deep. So this is the deep, right? Because this is water. And darkness was over it. So this is also nighttime. This is daytime. This is nighttime. So this is when the sun is rising. So early morning, maybe before the sun even shine, like we even see the sun. It's going to be the morning light. And then here is when the daylight. So in the morning, like 9 o'clock. And then it goes into the afternoon. And then it goes into the domain of water, which is when the sun starts setting. So it would be nighttime in this area. So there was no sun yet. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. So if this is hovering over the waters, you can see the moon wasn't created yet, so it would just be Jupiter. So Jupiter is hovering over these waters. And then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So, I'm just trying to help you understand a little bit better about how Jupiter works. What are we looking at again? The creation of the world. So now you can like get a better grasp, or like you can imagine a better idea of what it looks like. It's not going to be perfect. It takes a lot of practice and work. Even I haven't like truly mastered it yet to the point where I can look at it and be like satisfied. I see glimpses of it, but it's very untangible. But I think that's okay. It's a process. It's something you enjoy, right? It's a journey. So he's hovering over the waters. Um, yeah, so that's interesting. So he was hovering over the waters. I don't know that you can interpret that in a lot of ways, but yeah, you can. This is how you kind of like look at the creation of the world, and you could keep going back and forth in it, but you just need to read the text, and it's gonna take practice. But we'll keep going. He is very faithful unto the exorcist and will not suffer him to be tempted of any spirit. Just like how you pray to Jesus, like he's gonna like not let you get tempted by other spirits like the devil or any other kind of like God. He's gonna be like, no, there's only one God, just worship me, right? He governs 20 legions of spirits. Let's see, his 20 legions. 20 would be person. Person is a king. His appearance is comely, like a man with the lion's face, carrying a cruel viper in his hand, riding upon a bear. Going before him are many trumpets sounding. He knoweth all things hidden and can discover treasure and tell all things past and present to come. He can take a body either human or aerial and answers truly of all earthly things, both secret and divine, and of the creations of the world. He bringeth forth good familiars, um and under his government there be 22 legions. Okay, so this is person sigil. That would be Venonat and Venomoth. Um, but anyway, so we see this lion figure. Okay, remember the sun. That's the element of the king. The king is fire, right? Because the sun is fire. It's a heavenly fire, and then fire is an earthly fire. But so that kind of makes sense, right? Because well, let's see. Let's think outside the box. So you don't got to be so literal and so figurative and like so constrained, right? We kind of want to expand our minds a little. So we're hovering over the waters. It must mean that, and he created the light. So I'm thinking he must have created the heavens and the earth, right? So he was floating. He's the air. That's like that heavenly energy, and he created the heavens, right? And then he was like, "Oh, I can create the earth." So he created the earth, and then he said, and then it was dark, and so then he was like, "Let there be light," right? So he's hovering over the waters, and he's like, "Oh, I need there to be light." So he created the sun, and then he created the moon, right? To grow everything. So I don't think it means like he just created light. Also, another thing we should know about light is that it's pressurized. So it's just a lot of pressure, 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 and then boom, then the sun comes out. So there would be light. It would just be like an expansion, right? So it's just a whole bunch of life, a whole bunch of breath, a whole bunch of air, and then boom, then the sun comes out, and then it keeps that light going, or the light keeps the sun going. Actually, I guess the sun just carries the light with it or pulls it with it. Yeah. So but person. So now we know something about that Jupiter and King. So today's morning energy would have a lot to do, and today is a Sunday actually. And so we have the sun energy and we have this Jupiter energy. But we're in the month of April. So we're in a month of fire, but we have a lot of water and sun energy, and it's pretty cloudy today. It's a nice cold day, nice fresh day to go do things. Still early though. I'm kind of tired. I just been exhausted lately for some reason. Um, yeah. So person is a king. He can help you with familiars. He brings forth good familiars. Anyways, so yeah. So maybe today would be a good day to do like I want to get a silver chalice one day, but I'll get like a cup. I'll do some divination and like make some familiars out of it, right? So I guess it's like pulling out that energy, and then once you create a familiar, it goes and gets you the people that you need to help you in your life. So like let's say you're trying to get a job or you're trying to like build something or get work done, you can use that divination to like influence those people and get what you want. Um and it doesn't have to be a bad thing. And you don't have to like just tell them like everything that you want. You just be like, "Hey, I want this. Go get it." And then they go and get it, and however they do it, you just take it, right? And you can work from there. Um, yeah. So that's kind of cool. That's the morning energy for it, the daytime energy. And at nighttime, we're gonna have 56 Gremory or Gamori. The 56th spirit is Gremory or Gamori. He is a duke, strong and powerful. He appears in the form of a beautiful woman with the Duchess's crown tied about her waist and riding on a great camel. His office is to tell of all things past, present, and to come, and of treasures rid and what they lie in, and to procure the love of women both young and old. So Gremory would be Goldine and Sea King. That's why you see Goldine as like this princess, and she has that's the Duchess's crown, right? But it also mentions that he's a man. So then you get Sea King, which shows that there's like some kind of divinity going on, right? I mean, royalty. Mm. And dukes are obviously love. They're Venus, so this is the area of the dukes. So if you're right here, you have this energy. You can see that it's connected. You even have this Jupiter energy right here. So that could be why there's a Jupiter, right? And then what do you have? The sun for the king. Let's see where that connects. I guess that would connect somewhere around here. Um, but yeah, you have these. So you would kind of want to look at like what lines they're running through. To get an idea of how they created these spirits and how they categorize them. Gremory. So it's a duke, strong and powerful. So we know that dukes are swords, spades. They're also the air element, and they're mainly would be considered Gemini, um, Aquarius, and Libra, and Venus. But these would be their areas, and so that just gives you a better idea of how they work. And air signs would be the Sword of David. And the Sword of David is seen as something that is like victorious and conquers, right? So they say the pen is mightier than the sword. You could think of it as that as well, and you can even use it for conquest. But and love. So that's why it's usually associated with love. Um, but swords can also be like phalluses, and so can wands. So if you look here, the sword, the rod of Aaron, and the sword of David. This represents that masculine stuff. So yeah, like a phallus, right? And then this would be the shekel, which is a shield or a gold piece, and the cup, right? These can also be seen as like feminine things because this could be like the womb, and this could be like an entrance to something like a cave, right? So that could be like, what would you call that? What's the opposite of phallus? All right. Um, So Gremory it rides on a camel. His office is tell of all things past, present, and to come, and of treasures rid. And of treasures rid. That's kind of cool. Like maybe things that are lost. Maybe you can find things that are lost or things that are hidden, mysteries, etc. What they lie in, and to procure the love of women both young and old. So that's interesting because you need to influence the world one way or another in that way. Like you can influence people with what they love, right? So you can use love to influence situations with the spirit. um he governs over 26 legions. Let's see who's 26. Bunye or Bimi. The 26th spirit is Bunye or Bim. He is a strong and great mighty duke. He appears in the form of a dragon with 3 heads, one like a dog, one like a griffin, and one like a man, kind of like Cerberus, right? He speaks with the high and comely voice. He changes the place of the dead and causes the spirits which be under him to gather upon your sepulchres. He giveth riches unto a man and make him wise and eloquent. He giveth true answers unto demands, and he governs 30 legions. This is his sigil. This will be Poliwhirl and Poliwag. You can see the little tadpole right here, so that's how they got the Poliwhirl Poliwag. And if you look at Poliwhirl or Poliwrath, they have their eyes like up here, and then they have their belly. So yeah, Pokemon are sigils. All right. And he's a Duke, so it'll be double air. So it's 2 winds. So it's a Sun and Jupiter and Sun, and then 2 Venuses. All right. So we see that this one is 2 Venuses. I guess right here and right here. And then this is for so let's see, this is daytime. These two are the daytime, or would it be these two? What are these two are the daytimes? And one of these are the nighttime. But they're both Earth, but they're both connected to something different. So this one has Jupiter, this one has Virgo and Jupiter, but also water right here and Earth right here. So maybe that's why it's so connected to Venus right here, because Taurus is connected to Venus. So it's just letting you know there's like a lot of Venusian energy at the nighttime and a lot of Jupiter energy during the daytime. Um, so there could be chances of like wind tonight. Um, so let's see. If we can imagine like divinating over water, so we can control a lot of water today. Maybe summon some like water elemental spirits, like a mermaid or something, or undines, and then having them go out and like influencing people to fall in love. But there can also be a sense of danger because we need danger. So let's see, how would we do that? Maybe it could be like a competition today where people are like fighting for love or something, and fighting for what they love, and it's like tearing people apart. So because we want good, but we also want the bad, because if we have the bad, then it can prove the good, right? You need the bad to prove the good. Forget it. All right, so we know what spirits are for today. Kind of complicated. It took 30 minutes to interpret that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's new or upcoming. Recently, what's his name? Donald Trump was like was gonna get shot at, and the shooter looks like he's black and white. Let's look at who that person was. Donald Trump shooter, ethnicity. Um, Cole Allen. Hmm. Cole Allen. Let's see who this guy is. Um, let's find out who this dude is. I wish I could show you guys. Yeah, he looks like white and black. Uh, the suspect has been identified by U.S. authorities as 31-year-old. So he's 31 years old. So we'll do some cool stuff right now. From Torrance, about 15 miles southwest of downtown Los Angeles. What? He's from downtown Los Angeles? People have said the suspect was armed with a shotgun and a handgun and multiple knives. Officials have said that he has no criminal record and he was not on the radar of law enforcement. Um, let's see. Cole Allen. Let's see. So he was 31 years old, huh? Cole Allen. There's an actor by the name. So, okay, when we're interpreting Illuminati stuff and you do your research, so we look up Cole Allen, but then we notice that there's another Cole Allen that's an actor. So that lets you know that this is like a Democratic gig, because Democrats are actors. I mean, all politicians are actors, but Democrats are specifically in that sector of that mafia acting, trying to get people to believe them kind of thing, pulling at because you're going to believe, right? An actor, because an actor is like somebody that is like pretending to be something that they're not, but you fall for the ruse and you're entertained by it. And that's what Democrats do. They're just like, hey, we're helping you, we're doing all these good things, and you kind of fall for it. But let's see what we know about the suspect shooting. Kidding Green, Round Your Life, May I Be at Peace trailer. So there must be people also search for Jim Carrey, Judy Greer, Frank Langella. So basically, those people must have something to do with this situation. But he was from a coastal city near Los Angeles. That's very interesting too. But let's see, he's 31. So let's look at the Spirit 31 and see if it has anything, because they'll use those numbers. Remember, the Illuminati use this book for everything they do. 31. Let's see who 31 is. So nothing's going to be really coincidental. Forrest. The 31st spirit is Forrest. He is a mighty president and appears in the form of a strong man in human shape. He can give the understanding to men how they may know the virtue of all herbs and precious stones. He teacheth the arts of logic and ethics in all their parts. If desired, he maketh men invisible, and to live long, and to be eloquent. He can discover treasures and recover things lost. In Pokemon, that would be Machamp and Machoke. But he's a president, so we have like two ideas, right? And then it's 31, right? So let's see. If we go back to the chart, 36, 34, 32, 30. So it would be somewhere right here. Interesting. Obviously, we know that that energy is for Mars, which is for attacking. And then you have that presidential energy, which is obviously he got close to the president. But let's see. It's also an acting gig. So Donald Trump is probably in on it too because he used to be a Democrat. He used to be part of that acting field. They create those actors, those politicians, so they can go on to the big stage, and they always have it planned. They always have it planned. So they're just like, oh, who are we gonna cast for the role? Who are we grooming for the role, basically? Yeah, that's pretty interesting that this guy got pretty close, but it was obviously a ruse, but it has a purpose. Let's ask Gemini. Because Gemini is a little smarter. Who was Cole Allen, the shooter at Trump? That's his name, Cole Allen, right? I don't know. On Saturday, so Saturday is Saturn, which represents death, on April 25th, 2026. So 25th, today is the 26th. Yesterday was the 25th, which was Aquarius and Jupiter. Aquarius and Jupiter, huh? So obviously it was being served. Let's see. Aquarius and Jupiter, and that was yesterday. So today was Gramarye, and so it would be Cameo and Murmur. And Murmur is actually a duke and an earl, appears in the form of a warrior riding a griffin with the duchess's crown, a ducal crown tied upon his head. There do go before him his ministers with great trumpets sounding. His office is to teach philosophy perfectly and constrain souls deceased to come before the exorcist to answer those questions which he may push to them if desired. So there's something going on. Something suspicious is going on. Let's see. Was apprehended following a shooting incident at the White House dinner in Washington, D.C. The shooting occurred at Washington Hilton around 8:30. Allen allegedly charged the security checkpoint armed with a shotgun, handgun, and multiple knives. But where was this? The White House correspondent here in Washington, D.C., and he's from L.A. That's like Democratic Nation. So they must have like MK Ultra the dude to go there. So basically, when you MK Ultra somebody, you don't like physically have to have anything to do with those people. You just have to influence them, and they go out and they do the work for you. It's like a spiritual puppeteering. Background professor. He was an educator who worked at C2 Education in Torrance and was recognized as Teacher of the Month in late 2024. He also described himself as an independent video game developer. Interesting. He held a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Caltech and a master's degree in computer science. Wow. Possible motive. A manifesto found at the scene that reportedly contained anti-Trump and anti-Christian rhetoric. Was targeting members of the Trump administration. Legal status. 2 counts of using a firearm during a crime of violence. 1 count of assault on a federal officer using a dangerous weapon. I thought he died, though. Let's see. Didn't he die? And Gemini say he is. Because I heard, no, Cole Thomas Allen is alive. Not struck by fire, so he was caught. Wow. Oh, a Secret Service agent was shot, but he might still be alive too. Okay, that's pretty interesting, right? So yeah, they'll basically like, I guess it's like a sleeper agent, right? So you have like a person, you manipulate them, you program them, you influence them, and you don't do nothing. You don't have to do anything. But spiritually, yes. So like Jeffrey Epstein, right? The J Stein. What did he have? He had a room with like a dentist chair, and he had masks surrounding it. So whenever he would do, because there's a lot of people out there that are like perverts, and they love like medical equipment, and it to them it turns them on. It's like some kind of sex thing that they have. But that lets you know that they're programmed ritually, right? Like a fetish. That's why usually they call charms fetishes. So basically, what they could do in the ritual. Let's see. Let's say Let's say Jay Stein had somebody. Jay Stein, Jeffree Star, Jay Star. Weird, huh? Maybe they're all in the same business, because usually they'll use similar names to show that they're in the same business. So Jay Stein, he would have the chair. Maybe he was like performing rituals on people, on his abductees, on his victims, and he had masks, like crazy masks surrounding the room, but they were all like influential men. So basically, he was letting them see the ritual. So basically, he'll be like, "Hey, you're doing a press conference today. All right, I'll go do a ritual over there, and whatever ritual happens there, it'll influence what happens in your area." And he might not even have to like physically use it to like harm somebody. He could do it like spiritually, just having it in the room, and he could just think it, and it'll work that way too. So that's why it's really hard to catch these people um in the act, right? Because they can like I can have my fan there, but I can enchant the fan. It's a peacock fan. I can enchant it so it lives its own life. Like in Fantasia, you see Mickey Mouse bring the broom to life. um so the broom cleans everything, and it mops and it sweeps and it cleans and cleans and cleans, and it goes crazy, and it does it on its own. But you can do that spiritually as well, where you don't even have to physically like watch the broom do it. Just think it, let it happen, and spiritually in the astral realm, it's gonna do it. So he'll be like, okay, I already have the setup. It's good. And then it would even attract the men to him, right? Because they had those masks, and then they're like, what's going on? Like, what does he plan to do? So you can use those rituals to like, they're constantly moving, they're constantly harvesting energy, they're constantly being used, they're facilitated. Just like how if I put that would be uh Decarabia, I believe. Porygon is Decarabia. Let me make sure. Um, Decarabia. It's a star. Um, where are you, Decarabia? Oh, okay. Number 69, Decarabia. He appears in the form of a star and a pentacle at first, but at the command of the exorcist, he puts on the image of a man. His office is to discover the virtues of birds and precious stones. So he does look like a bird, and he does look like he's made out of stones, even though it's 3D images. And makes the similitude of all kinds of birds to fly before the exorcist. So the similitude, so that means like this vision, right? So he can create this vision of birds to fly before you. So it lets you know illusion magic, and that's how illusion magic works. So if I have him there, he's always going to be doing illusion magic for me. Just like you have a statue outside your house, it's always going to protect you, right? Or if you have a statue of Jesus, it's always going to protect you. Like that's how our brains work. So if you have this medical room with these masks watching the chair, it's always going to be active. It's going to be an active ritual. You can turn it on and off whenever you need to as well. Um, yeah, so we have different things like the dice, the pink dice. I can use that for a ritual to be like, hey, bring me good luck, and I get good luck. And then I have a chopper hat, like cute things. Um, yeah, so you can do rituals that way. That's why, like, let's say, I'm trying to think of something like if you have a wand, it can have its own life, and it'll be autonomous, just like a golem. You like create a statue of like what you want, and it'll be alive. So it's basically like manifesting things, but putting in extra work. And it's good to put in the extra work when you're a magician so that you can get more results, not just some of the results. So like let's say when you pray and they're praying, then you more people pray together in the church, then it gets bigger. And then you pray and you go and do good things for people in the world, then more good things will happen for you, right? It's like building up karma. But it's also like prayer and action. So statues are prayer and action because you have to put the work in to make it. You have to put your blood, sweat, and tears into making something, right? Um, so yeah, Jay Stein would put his money, his influence, his time, his energy, even ritually, or even that room could be clean and nothing ever happened there, but they have like a room somewhere else where they're manifesting that energy. Or let's say maybe all the dentists that they own like dental companies or something, right? And whoever's in those chairs getting their teeth pulled, like all that energy is being harvested into that room and then funneled into those politicians, and that can also be seen as like money laundering as well. So it's like different aspects of one thing that it can go through. That's how expansive magic is. It could be physical and it could be metaphysical. Um, let's see. So he was 31. That's interesting. Wow, that's some crazy stuff, right? One day I want a microphone like, hello, how are you? What's up? What are you guys doing? Trying to think if there's anything else that's like recent that happened, but that's pretty crazy. But and when you look at them, they look like actors. Like there was like this Asian girl and Melania, and I'm like, why did they pick an Asian girl? And she's just like, oh my god, like she was very over dramatic. So it was like, and Trump was just like, and Melania was scared, but it was just like there's something going on. Like, and even for them, they could be like totally oblivious to it, but this is how that energy works. This is how you interpret it. So like let's say Donald Trump doesn't know anything about this. And he's like, and the Democrats don't even know. They're just like, this is like, oh my God, so random. But every little action has a reaction. So it's the butterfly effect. So because the Democrats are doing something a certain way, it's gonna influence the tides. I was watching this show called The 12th Kingdom. It's an anime, and basically the leader is picked by a Karen. A Karen is a Chinese unicorn and a Japanese unicorn, and they're very powerful, and they choose the king. And if anybody lies to the king, the unicorn will stab them in the heart. So they always have it in the court to like let the king know who's lying and who's telling the truth. Um, but if you're a bad ruler, the Karen gets sick and it dies, and then you die. But if you die, the Karen has to go find a new king, and you'll have a really long life if you do everything right and you rule the kingdom right. So basically the Karen is trying to like destroy Donald Trump and everyone else too. um but it tried to do it to Joe Biden, so it's letting you know that all the presidents are really screwed up. Whoever they put up there, they're just actors that are being paid and influenced. And in the 12th Kingdom anime, everything is very, it's in a separate world to ours, like a parallel dimension. So we have to remember that there is a parallel dimension that is very hard to grasp, and that parallel dimension is where Castle Demon Lord takes place. So all of this game happens in that parallel dimension. Um, but it's basically whatever we do here happens over there, and whatever happens over there happens here. So we influence each other. And let's say you have a dog and you love it and you're like, this is such a cute dog, and in the other world you might be like a mom and you might have a son and it's your dog, right? So that's kind of how that works. Or let's say you don't have any parents here, but in the other, but you have like this imaginary parent in your head. In the other world, they exist. That reality of you and them exist. So there's a lot of things like that that can influence people, and they might not even be tapping into it properly. They can just be like influencing it here and there. They must be good at something in order for it to be taking effect in that way. But usually I use rituals to like influence it, you know what I'm saying? So we'll probably get into that a little bit more later, but I'll just end it here, give you guys something to think about, and catch you later. Bye.